right, good evening and welcome to your most authoritative evening political show, Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We're also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television, live on YouTube at Pan-African Television, as well as 48 African countries. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp stroke text line. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. My name is Justice Appiah. Tonight on Hot News, the New Patriotic Party has accused the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) of attempting to help the minority leader Dr. 𝐇𝐎𝐓 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒 evade justice in the ambulance case. Now, according to the New Patriotic Party, the accusations leveled against the Attorney General Godfred Dame are merely attempts to prevent him from holding Dr. 𝐍𝐄𝐼𝐒 accountable. NPP legal practitioner Frank Davis said this at a press conference in reaction to the NDC's version earlier yesterday. Now, what did the NDC do? The NDC released a tape allegedly showing A-G influencing witness to incriminate Dr. 𝐇𝐎𝐓 𝐍𝐄𝐼𝐒. We have that tape. We will listen to that tape briefly. When we come back, I introduce my guest for tonight's discussion to start. So what it means is that the National Democratic Congress held a press conference yesterday, and the New Patriotic Party had countered that press conference. They also held a counter press conference yesterday to debunk the allegations and all of that were leveled by the National Democratic Congress against the Attorney General. Now let's listen to the tape that was played yesterday between Godfred Dame, Attorney General, and Mr. Jakpa. We'll be right back.
You pay only after the goods have been delivered. That is also the contract, also.
Yes, but then the financial instrument for the project is an irrevocable letter of credit. So
Good.
So that credit letter has already been sent.
No problem. But in my view, that letter of area, the contract requires that you pay by letters of credit, not so.
Yes, in addition, we should establish it upon the sign of the contract. So already you have paid.
Upon the signing of the contract for every 50 ambulance.
Yes. Upon the signing of the contract for every 50 ambulance, since there was no advance mobilization, advance payment, that LC was a security that you have to establish ahead.
No problem. It's on the contract for every 50 ambulance. Is it the contract for the contract for every 50 ambulance?
Pardon?
Is it the contract for, I'm saying upon the sign of the contract for every 50 ambulance.
Yes.
Is it the contract for the every 50 ambulance?
The contract is for 200 ambulances in tranches of 50.
Good, hold on. So that contract for 50 ambulance is different from this one?
No. It is, the contract is one contract for 200 ambulances, which has been broken down within the contract for every few. You establish LC for every 50 tranche. So you have 4 LCs for the 200 ambulances.
No, that part I disagree with you. But if you look at the terms of the contract, it's quite clear. And it should not be difficult for you to accept, because really it doesn't put you in any problem at all. That does not put you into any difficulty. I don't know the Minister of Health, the Minister of Finance. So for me, if you accept that, then it doesn't put you in any difficulty.
The problem I have in accepting that for you, is that in there are letters that confirm that, both from government and from our principal, that is for every 50 ambulances. That confirms that. And I'll be tendering those letters in. So I cannot go against what the letters say and the contracts say, because I was the agent at that time. Jakpa business was the agent.
Hold on. LCs on site. Payments shall be in euros. First, we said there shall be no advance payment.
Yes.
What does advance payment mean?
What it means is that you are not the supplier was not going to be paid any cash, any money for him to use in procuring all the accessories and everything to manufacture. So the manufacturer will use his own money to buy the ambulance vans, all the accessories from across the globe, with the security from government being the LC. And the LC has conditions precedent.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Does advance payment not mean paying in advance of the delivery of the goods?
They said no advance payment.
Yes, advance payment means that you are paying before the goods are delivered to you.
No, they said no advance payment. Not that there's advance payment. Yes. No advance. Mean that you will not pay.
Yes, until the goods are delivered to you. Also.
Yes.
Yes, so until the goods are delivered, you don't pay at all.
You don't pay.
Also. So, and then also it goes ahead to say that payments shall be in a free manner. LCs on site of goods. In fact, what is the even LC on site of goods? What does it mean?
What LC on site of goods means is that when you ship the documents, when you ship the goods, when you ship the goods from your port of origin, the bill of lading of the goods is what you use as
LC on site of goods means means when the goods have been shipped.
They have been shipped.
Not
and then
the goods have been delivered in Ghana.
No, when the goods have been shipped. Because you have gone to do pre-shipment. So what I'm trying to explain is that so you use the bill of lading. You use a bill of lading. You use a bill of lading.
You establish the LCs after pre-shipment inspection. No dispute about that.
No, the LC is established as soon as you sign the contract. You establish the LC, and that becomes the security comfort for the supplier to invest his money.
It says LCs on site of goods are returned upon the signing of the contract.
Yes.
For every 50 ambulances.
Yes.
Yes. Which contract is this? It's not a contract for every 50 ambulances. So in under this main contract, this was like the main contract.
The main contract and LC for every 50 of the 200. So the contract is not saying that government should establish one LC which is 15.8 million euros for the whole 200 at a go. No. Government has a bulk contract of 15.8 million euros. Now, this contract will become, the ambulance will be coming in tranches of 50 ambulances. So you establish your LC for the 50. When that 50 have been delivered and everything sorted out and handed over, another LC is established for another subsequent 50 until you finish all the 200. That is what the contract says. So the LC that was established.
Even then, hold on. I don't agree with your explanation. But even then, this is your explanation. That's not what happened in this case.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah, that's not what happened. Yes, because the LC was established even before pre-shipment inspection.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
There was no pre-shipment inspection. So it means there was no basis for the LC to be established in the first place.
No.
Really not your problem anyway.
Right, that place, in that particular place, you are getting it wrong. You may have patience for me to explain to you. No. You are getting it wrong there because when you establish LC, the LC had conditions precedent for it to be honored, and the condition precedent states that you can only cash the LC when you present shipping documents, which is bill of lading, to the Ghana International Bank of the buyer before the LC can be honored. So even though the LC was established upon the signing of the contract, was supposed to be established upon the signing of the contract, it cannot be cashed or honored. It becomes a form of security for the supplier to invest his own money. And when he ships the ambulances, he can then send a bill of lading to your bankers to then honor the LC, because that is a condition precedent.
But in any case, in this case, even the LC was actually cashed. Everything. That payment was actually made before the goods were shipped.
No.
The goods got to Ghana.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't have the supplier. There is no way under the sun he could have cashed the LC before the shipping document, which were condition precedent, was presented to Ghana International Bank. Even when he presented the documents to Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC, raising issues of discrepancy, which came back to Bank of Ghana, which later went to the Ministry of Health, and then Animana authorized Bank of Ghana through Ministry of Finance to pay because they had sorted out the discrepancies with Big C. That time, around this time, or the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You are not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, It's so simple. The tell the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go. The way you want to go about it.
So you let's agree. Let's describe it that way. Let's describe it that way. Do you want to go about it?
Okay,
you
fine.
Agree this way. For me, it makes it simple.
Yes, it will make
it doesn't also involve. It doesn't involve any difficulty for you.
Yes, I agree. I understand your point.
When you say there's no advancement, yes. When you say there's no advancement, ordinarily meaning in Ghana that you don't pay until you get your goods. Now the contract here, even the clear terms, unless maybe you guys did not draft the contract, it says LCs on site of goods shall be established upon the signing of the contract for every future.
No, the contract was drafted by government. It was done by government.
Oh, yes.
And it was an AG department perused the contract and approved the contract for government.
It is not a problem whether they approve it. Every contract is actually approved before later when they are implementing it. Then problems.
You see, what the difficulty I have with your position is that, you see, frankly speaking, fine, as you are saying, if I agree to your position, how you want to go about it and how you want me to go about my answering questions and things, if I go by that way, frankly speaking, I'll be dishonest, because I know that is not how it's supposed to be, and I'll be dishonest in such a way that I'll be assisting for someone I know is completely innocent about this. For example, Atu Forsen to be jailed because I knew something was wrong, was not the way, and I decided to keep quiet and to answer the question in a way that will make your case better for you to jail him. I'll be battling with my conscience. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place, you'll be meeting me at my cousin's place, and you've been bringing this issue up several times. And I keep telling you that I can't do that because it doesn't sit well with me.
Look at the terms of contract. The terms of contract are simple. It is on site shall be established upon the sign of the contract for every future ambulance.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah.
It's for every. So when you see that hand for every 50 ambulance, means that it's not only the 50.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
For every, it means that it is not only 50.
All right.
Mean that there are a lot of 50s that will be following. So that is what I was trying to explain to you. So frankly speaking, the LC that was established was as a security for the supplier to invest his own money, since there's no advance.
Yes, it is the same that was used to pay. Because LC was the means of payment and the agreement.
Yes. When the conditions precedents are met.
Which is what? That agrees that they have some documents.
That he has the bill of ladings, the ambulance have been shipped, and the bill of ladings are presented. That is when you can catch the LC. So until you ship the ambulances, you can't catch the ambulance. You can't catch the LC.
It was done in this case also.
Yes, in this case, yes. When he shipped the ambulances, he then presented their documents to Ghana International Bank, and then Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC and raised issues of discrepancies, which was later cleared by Animana at the Ministry of Health for payment to proceed. And that is how he was paid.
Yes.
So, frankly speaking, if there's somebody who authorized this payment to go on, even though in Ghana International Bank raised issues of discrepancies, it's Animana. He was authorizing those payments.
But you quote when you heard the Bank of Ghana officials and the Minister of officials and even Tepe say that no payment can go on except with Minister of Finance authorization. There's no way Minister of Health was in fact Minister of Health actually even their letter they said no, they should go ahead and produce ambulances.
After that letter that Shariah wrote that they should suspend production and those things was contrary to the terms of the contract, and that letter went to the office, the AG's office, and the AG debunked that letter and wrote his legal opinion and told her that they should proceed. So AG, that letter had been destroyed by your department, by your ministry. So that letter is of no value. It is the AG's legal opinion that overrode that letter, and Ministry of Finance had to implement the AG's opinion.
Yeah, and by the AG's legal opinion, the terms of contract will be honored.
Yes.
Or the terms of contract will breach.
and because they were already breached, and the AG wanted them to honor it. So that 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒's letter that you want to rely on is of no value.
They honor it. Honor the terms of contract.
The ministry. Yeah, they did. They still didn't honor some part of the contract. They honored the LC part, but when it came to the pre-shipment inspection, they refused to honor that particular part.
Okay.
So they waive their right to go and inspect, and then they turn around and blame people for you not going to inspect to rectify any manufacturing defect that the pre-shipment inspection was meant to kill. So 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒, through her negligence and refusal to implement the pre-shipment inspection, created this problem. That's what I was trying to head.
The reason why I said that's my timetable for the rest of the.
That means that you are not going to be around.
So, and then even next week, the whole of next week, I'll not be around. There's a way of you not even finishing next week. I would appreciate.
Oh no, okay, no, I'll not finish next week. I don't think I'll be able to finish because the documents are many. So you will surely go and come and meet me.
Oh, no,
but that will also depend upon the judge's behavior.
You can bring one medical excuse next week.
Okay. Okay, fine. If you bring a medical excuse next week.
I said you. How can I bring a medical excuse?
No, you are saying that I should bring a medical excuse next week.
You can if you want.
But brother, you want this woman to issue bench warrant for me again?
Right. Anyway.
Because you can see that I was really in admission, struggling for my life, and she issued bench warrant for me to be arrested, and my name was put everywhere.
That's right.
Now, if I go and do another one, as you are saying, my brother, this woman will issue another bench warrant for me and destroy the little of my reputation left. She will destroy it for me.
No problem.
But you will surely go and come and meet me still talking. So don't worry.
No problem. All right.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
Welcome back from that, audio break. But you've listened to the conversation between the Attorney General Godfred 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒 Dame and Mr. Jakpa, the third accused in the ambulance trial. Calls have intensified for the Attorney General to resign from office. The National Democratic Congress has made a similar call. We've had voices of conscience. We've had very prominent lawyers who are also calling for the resignation of the Attorney General. One of such persons happens to be former director of a Ghana law school and founder of Mount Crest University College, in person of Ansan Sari, who has also called for the resignation of the Attorney General Godfred 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒 Dame. We'll delve deeper into these allegations, accusations, and counter accusations, from both the National Democratic Congress and then the New Patriotic Party. I've been joined in the studio by Bernard Odro Techi, popularly known as BOT. He's a chartered economist and a member of the National Democratic Congress. BOT, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm feeling bad.
You're feeling bad?
Very, very bad.
What makes you feel bad?
Good evening to your viewers and your listeners and across the globe. I am too sad that as a up-and-coming businessman and a politician, justice is one thing that you don't substitute.
Okay.
And either in civil or in criminal proceedings, fairness is key.
Okay.
It is not for nothing that within the spirit and the dictate of this constitution, we have somebody who is primus inter pares in matters of the legal profession called Attorney General.
True.
So for what has happened, the revelation coming out, the avalanche of evidence coming out, voices of conscience in the society called Ghana, calling on him to do the needful. And in the midst of this crisis, him taking over Delta Airline, enjoying business class to all the way flying to the USA, it makes me sad as a young person. But there is hope. Two things are giving me hope for the past, over the weekend and today. Former President Mahama has said that...
I'll come back to you.
Quick. Former President Mahama has given a reassuring statement that he will do whatever it takes to avoid opulence expenses within the public sector in the near future by cutting off light bills, DSTV bills, and unnecessary miscellaneous expenditure for government appointees. Then also, Global Info Analytics has released a report on 𝐸 Central, 𝐸 South, and Sotom and Trobu. And interestingly, these are blue constituencies called MPP stronghold. But the outcome of that research report and the key issue they're going to base on to vote shows that the NDC 24-hour economy now is a game changer. That people in Greater Accra largely are going to look at the tripod is economy, education, and jobs. And among all these three thematic areas, the NDC has taken a commanding lead. And I want to assure the members of the NDC fraternity that let us stay on course. Whatever the MPP does with their propaganda, alarm speaking that they are going to make sure they bring the aid at all costs. Let us stay focused and sell our proper manifesto that we are going to ensure that we stimulate economic growth to create jobs for the because the people in Greater Accra today are looking for better education, good jobs, and improved economy.
That was BOT chartered economist. Also in the studio with me is the Director of Communications, NADMO, and a member of a New Patriotic Party communications team, Mr. George A.C. Mr. A.C., thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. I'm good. Good evening to you, your viewers. Good evening to my brother, BOT. I think the issues that are happening are interesting and gives cause for all of us to be alert and attentive. The desperation of a group of people and their scheme to distort facts and throw dust in the eyes of the Ghanaian is what we are going to look at, because the resolve and the resoluteness of the Attorney General to ensure that there's value for money and people must account for the acts, misdeeds, and conducts. That is what is putting threats and shivers down the spine of the opposition NDC.
Okay.
And so we are all resolved to ensure that people account for their acts, and when they're given responsibilities, they must tell the Ghanaian how they used that responsibility in the interest of the Ghanaian.
Right, so that was Mr. George A.C., Director of Communications for NADMO. So we'll delve deeper into the issue tabled out for discussion. Yesterday, BOT, I'll start with you. Your party held a press conference. They played a tape, you know, purporting to be a conversation between Mr. Jakpa and then the Attorney General, Godfred Dame. Your party believes that that audio seeks to get the third accused, Mr. Jakpa, to incriminate Dr. 𝐇𝐎𝐓 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒, who is the minority leader and MP for, you know, I think Jumako. Yeah. The MPP has also held a counter press conference, and they have said that the tape that you played was doctored. It was a doctored tape. They believe that the National Democratic Congress is only frustrating the AG, the Attorney General, in order to make sure that you do not allow 𝐸 to account for certain things that he's accused of doing. What do you make of all these issues? Why would you play a doctored tape, or why would you doctor a tape just to, you know, just to catch public sympathy for somebody who has been accused of causing financial loss to the state?
Let me zero down and extend.
And you have 10 minutes for this round.
Let me extend warmer greetings to the members of the NDC once again, and to assure them that on the 7th of December, we will do nothing but to show a strong red card to the MPP.
Okay.
So nobody should be downhearted. All the developing issues are giving credence to the fact that we are coming to power. So as a member of the NDC, be bold, be audacious, be vivacious, that on the 7th December 2024, we are showing the MPP the red card. And the red card project has come to stay. So let me come back to your question. I think that lawyer Godfred Dame, if he has any modicum of conscience,
right,
he should resign by now.
Why should he resign? Because the MPP says he's not resigning because he's not done anything wrong.
And I saw the MPP press conference addressed by Frank Davis.
Yes.
As a Jama group. I saw them to be a charging group.
Okay.
A Jama group with no morale. Jama group with no locals. In fact, if you want proper Jama in this country, you come to Commonwealth.
Okay.
But what they did over there and wherever it was the worst form of Jama group I ever came across. What is the bone of contention? The bone of contention permit me to, for the avoidance of doubt, and there is the statement by a national chairman of the NDC.
Right.
For the avoidance of doubt, the specific claim that the Attorney General had based his persecution of the minority leader on is that, in the Attorney General's view, there has been a financial loss to the state because of he, as a Deputy Minister of Finance, wrote letters to the Bank of Ghana requesting the bank to settle letters of credit in favor of Big City Trading Limited of Dubai, suppliers of the ambulances in question, without authorization from his then boss and Finance Minister, Honorable 𝐇𝐎𝐓 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒. This publicly available information captured in the records of High Court Accra.
Okay.
And let me read paragraph 3 of the statement.
Go ahead.
Read. It is instructive to note that the establishment of the letters of credit was done on the advice of the Attorney General then. I repeat, it is instructive to note that the establishment of the letters of credit was done on the advice of the Attorney General then. That failure to do so was going to make it difficult for the government of Ghana to defend any suit brought by Big City Trading for breach of contract. So the issue is, what is letter of credit? Letter of credit is simply surety to pay in the near future.
Right.
So let's say government of Ghana awards contract of supply of mobile phones to, let's say, Omambapa Ghana Limited. Now government realizes that he may not have the needed funds available to pay upfront. Government can then say, I'm giving you surety of future payment. So take this just a letter. When I flow this letter to you, this letter of credit simply means that it is money in waiting for you, the company. If you're able to supply me this amount of 200 ambulances in certain 4 tranches, I pay you your money in full.
Right.
Now, anytime letter of credit is issued, it gives certain level of security and comfort of financial base to financial institutions that, look, if we give company A, B, C, D 17 million euro or pounds to buy these ambulances, we have a sovereign protection by the government of Ghana. So let nobody throw dust into the people's eye.
Okay.
That letter of credit is about. And in fact, in the financial industry, letter of credit has helped many organizations to survive. But for letter of credit, look, most of the stadium we have in Ghana couldn't have come to bear.
Okay.
Remember the Woyomi issue when he raised money for the stadium in Ghana and government was to pay him some commissioner to that stadium. It ended up to be a judgment there and a lot of hula baloo around it. So when a state gives you sovereign guarantee or letter of credit, the government is saying that I am promising to pay you upon certain conditions subsequent. This company takes the letter of credit, goes out to raise money to supply the ambulances. The ambulances come to the country, back and forth, they couldn't clear the ambulance per certain stipulated time. Then government jumps in to say that, because Ato Forson was then the deputy finance minister, if the ambulances were not delivered on time to the state Act 2022 Act 1079, what plea bargain says that I am under trial, but for some obvious reason, I want to truncate the whole trial and settle my indebtedness to the state or any stakeholder involved. So Jakpa and his company come and say that, look, the whole transaction was involved 2.37 million euro. We want to come forth and say that if indeed you say we have caused financial loss to the state, we want to pay that money to you upfront. Jakpa and his company issued that plea bargain letter. Then, Ato Forson, Godfred Dame representing the government of Ghana as an Attorney General, declines to accept that plea bargain letter. Then he said, okay, let us go full trial. So you see, in criminal trial, procedure technicalities are important. Because, for example, there is a certain popular legal axiom that it is better to free 1,000 criminal than to jail one innocent person. This is the bastion of criminal proceeding. Because criminal proceeding is at the heart of the liberty of the person involved. When the Blue Sea Company Limited wrote that plea bargaining letter to the Attorney General, to the government of Ghana. They said that, look, they are not trying the company, but they are trying individual affiliated to the company. So they want the express approval of those individuals. And here we are talking about Honorable Atoforsen, Jakpa, and the director of the Ministry of Health at that time. These people come forward and say that they have our consent express approval to put for the plea bargain. So assuming without admitting that if the MPP today is trying to demonize the fact that plea bargain is not accepted, I'm challenging the Attorney General. He must publish all individuals in Ghana who have applied for plea bargain under his jurisdiction and under what condition he accepted them. If he's able to do that publicly, BOT, I'm going to respect the fact that the Attorney General declining to accept the plea bargain letter by Jakpa at that time is acceptable. But if he's not able to do that and go about to throw tantrums that come what may, somebody must go to jail, it's a joke. And you see, if you look at the presser address by the national chairman of the NDC, he spoke about 4 thematic areas. Okay. Witness tampering. In fact, when you look at civil and criminal trial, one thing that is phenomenal is evidence. Because the name of the game is evidence. If you say justice is a criminal, okay, he's just a suspect and an accused, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Right. That is why in criminal trials, it is not balance of probability. It is purely, you have to prove so that every reasonable person on the street, if you subject that person to the tenet of the theory of your own prosecution, that person can say that, this person deserves to go to jail. But you don't go around to tamper with witness or evidence to make your case sweeter. And that what in that
16-minute audio that was played
yes,
National Democratic Congress,
yes,
in its press conference,
yes,
where exactly did the Attorney General temper with the witness?
The Attorney General made a conscious effort to quote the third accused, and that is criminal.
How did he do that? Where specifically? What did he say to the third accused that is described as, coaching?
In the conversation, whether they claim it is doctored, in the conversation, Jakpa said that I'm facing the same ordeal, and I know I am innocent.
Right.
I will not, out of my clear conscience, do what you want me to do to make sure that Atoforsen end up in jail. I will not do that. That was explicitly clearly made in the conversation. It's clear, except those who are failing to listen to the conversation and the audio. The second one is conspiracy against an accused person. See, you are the legal attorney of the state. An accused person is the one who comes to court, and you, the prosecutor, you are prosecuting him.
Right.
Why must you go beyond the court to be dealing with the accused? And in any case, I have had the benefit of seeing through some criminal proceedings. That is when you go to court, right?
Right.
And the matter before the court is of certain higher magnitude. There are times that the judges will call for, they will go into their chambers and settle the matters. So it was highly unethical.
Right.
Professionally unacceptable for the Attorney General of the country to outstep his bound to purportedly try to quote an accused person. It is wrong. The third one is professional misconduct. Don't forget that the Attorney General is a lawyer in the first place. And there are certain professional code and etiquette he must comply with. And in fact, we have the Legal Profession Rules 2020 LI 2423. What is explicitly clear that a lawyer of any standard must comply. The third one is fabrication of evidence to pervert the course of justice. All that Attorney General was seeking to do was to make sure that he get the third accused to align with his way of prosecution. So once he's able to get him to cajole him to his terms, then he can get a very good leeway to jail Atoforsen. But let us make it clear.
Okay.
That the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960 Act 29 is clear. Justice grinds slowly, but it arrives. We in the NDC, we are never perturbed about their intransigent position to throw away criminal trial rules to ensure that come what may, Atu will never go to jail. For those in the MPP who think that Jailing
that
forcing
can only be left for the court to decide.
No, there are people, they are making it all over.
Okay.
People saying it. They are very emphatic about it that they will make sure Kamote Ato forcing go to jail. But let me tell them, apart from the court or competent jurisdiction,
Right.
Ato forcing going to jail doesn't lie in the bosom of anybody.
Okay.
Until the court of Ghana, whether the High Court, Supreme Court pronounces otherwise, we in the NDC will deploy every legal remedy that is available to us to ensure that this matter goes beyond just criminal trial.
Right.
But he, Attorney General himself, one day will face the full rigors of the law.
Thank you. I'll come to you, Mr. Isi, but there's this issue that you mentioned about plea bargain.
Right.
Madam Sophia Akufo, former CJ, has spoken on that. Plea bargain can be sought in most criminal cases, including murder. And this is what she said. She spoke to a sister station.
Including murder.
Right, including murder. In the wake of the controversy surrounding the ongoing trial involving a former deputy finance minister accused of causing financial loss to the state, former Chief Justice Sophia Akufo has sought to clarify the misunderstanding around the concept of plea bargain. A plea bargain, also known as negotiating a plea, is an agreement in criminal law proceedings where the prosecutor provides a concession to a defendant in exchange for a plea of guilt. Now, he continued by saying that this may mean that the defendant will plead guilty to a less serious charge or to one of the several charges in return for a dismissal of other charges, or it may mean that the defendant will plead guilty to the original criminal charge in return for a more lenient sentence. This has become a subject of controversy in the ambulance procurement trial case after the third accused, Richard Jakpa, accused the Attorney General of attempting to influence him to tilt his testimony against the minority leader, Dr. 𝐇𝐎𝐒 𝐍𝐄𝐖𝐒. After making the allegation in open court, a supposed telephone conversation between him and the Attorney General Godfred Dame has been leaked by the opposition National Democratic Congress, which has accused the AG of acting unethically in the attempt to jail 𝐍𝐄𝐼𝐒, who is also the minority leader in parliament at all costs. Speaking on the plea bargain concept, the former Chief Justice in an interview said plea bargain is permissible in every criminal case unless there is a specific law restricting its application. Madam Akufo said the practice, not at all a novelty, is commonly applied in many countries and even in murder cases. And so there's no qualms about plea bargain or negotiating a plea.
So when this person initiated, it doesn't make it's not a criminal thing.
It is not a criminal.
It's allowed in law.
It's allowed in law. And that's what the former Chief Justice has clarified. Mr. Isi, now let me come to you. You are saying that the audio tape that was played by the National Democratic Congress is a doctored one. Yes. In any case, do you have the original tape?
Do we need to have?
You need to have the original tape.
Don't need to have any because when you listen to it,
do you have any evidence to prove that tape was doctored?
You see the slips and the jumps and all those things. Look, good evening to viewers again.
Okay.
Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the next president of the Republic of Ghana, the visionary individual who
so you have 10 minutes for this round.
Plan and vision for Mother Ghana. That is very
12.
important.
Okay.
So
right.
Ghanaians will bring you this determined, resolute individual who has a plan and a vision and a program to execute for the Ghanaian people. He has assured Ghanaian workers that government expenditure is going to be reduced drastically for the remuneration of workers to be increased, and that is more assuring. TUC is excited about that. Let me come to the matter on table. Justice, you see, the NDC who had tape is much ado about nothing.
Okay.
It is a propaganda cooked in the kitchen of Johnson and Nketia.
Okay.
Okay? Nobody is disputing the fact that there was a conversation between the Attorney General, the learned Attorney General, very intellectual individual, and the third accused, Jakpa. The third accused is also part of the trial process. True or false?
True.
Yes, he sits in the dock to respond to matters. Okay, because he was the business representative of the Big C in Dubai. True or false? In Ghana. I understand he's been relieved of that position as we speak. So that is another matter. So when the whole transactions went through, we have on record that the then, minister said no, don't proceed with this thing because we are working on the funding. Okay, so don't proceed to engage in that contract. There were two ministers then or so. I stand to be corrected. My own friend, who I'll be meeting tomorrow on another station tomorrow morning, the Leonard Dr. Alex Segbefia, and then Sharia Ite, we're there in between the times. And so that has been the issue. Atoforsen, my good friend, decided he was going to go ahead to engage. Okay? And he did engage. And Tontra tracks were brought to Ghana. Okay? The first consignment was about 50 tracks to be brought. In total, we're going to take about 200 of them. Okay, so that has been the thing. We are in Ghana, Ghanaians. This government brought 307 ambulances. We saw well-equipped, ambulances that have been operating in this country for how many years now and saving many lives. Okay, when COVID came, the ambulance service did fantastic. So we know what an ambulance, very operational ambulance is. Not the containers that were brought and left to rot there for almost what? The NDC administration didn't touch it. Okay, so these are the realities of the matter. They went into, like nobody says letters of credit is not right. So my brother was alluding to that. Nobody has said anywhere that letters of credit is not right. Okay, it is a right practice in the business environment. Okay, that he's right. A lot of business people wouldn't be operating but for letters of credit.
Great.
So that is it, and the guarantee and assurance from your bank is very important for the business transaction, especially international transactions. And so, no dispute about that. The MPP is saying, look, this thing is because the NDC had pleaded that the case be expunged, should be stopped. In fact, we are saying President John Dramani Mahama himself had made it a condition for members of parliament on the minority side to support the majority in most of the decision making. One key one is the recent recall of parliament. President Mahama said, made that as a condition that we should drop the Atoforsen trial case. The Attorney General says no. This is a man on record to have protected and saved this nation for over 10 trillion cedis loss. And this is because he's been resolute and resolved that he will not allow the judgment, deaths and code to be going left, right, flying left, right, center. No. And so he said this case will continue. There's been a plea. Respected individuals in this country have approached him to drop the case. He says no. The guy has misconducted himself because his ministers and co had cautioned him and he didn't list it. He went ahead to even say, wrote to Bank of Ghana and controller to pay. And when they paid the charge, the LC charges and co, he wrote again over almost 800 and something million euros were paid again. Okay, so these are the stark realities. And the vehicles were of no value and use to the Ghanaian country. It's the taxpayers' money, monies that we would have used for boreholes for the ordinary people in my village, in Kumbungu, in Nalerugu, okay, in Jiasekai. Okay, so that is what we are talking about, viewers. We need to protect our monies. Issues of misapplication of resource, okay, causing financial loss to the state is a serious issue that we need to look. Now let's come to the matters of playback. The London Attorney General said the guy, the third accused, approached him about 4 times. In fact, his lawyers wrote to him. They want to enter plea bargain. And then he said, okay, he doesn't have any problem with the plea bargain. Permit me, in our state, this is what the Attorney General said to him.
Good. The Supreme Court judge. Oh no. Good. Let me the issue of plea bargain.
Feel free.
Yeah. The Supreme Court judge therefore sought to inquire whether there was room for a plea bargain. Okay? So you see, this gives you the basis of who invited who. And the AG highlighted that he was not opposed, provided it was made in proper form, and assured third accused that he had nothing personally against any of the accused persons. The AG further requested that since the charges principally focus on the public officials through whose actions, listen, the loss was occasioned, Richard Jakpa should show fidelity to the transaction records which were already on record. Now, what the AG told them is that, okay, if you want to enter into plea bargain, I'm not against it. But you are saying the Big C company says they want to pay the money, right? Now he said they are not a party to the whole criminal proceedings, okay? And so if they want to pay, one of you, the accused persons, must take culpability or liability on that assurance that you want to enter into plea bargain, and then that payment will not, the onus will then move from the Big C company to you, the accused person. And so then the court records will have it that in the case of the inability of them to pay, you, Ato Forcing, the number one principal accused, will be held liable. Ato said no. He doesn't want to do it. What kind of plea bargain is that? A third party who is not a party to the procedure is saying, I'm going to pay. When the court rules, and you know the condition, they said they were going to pay 500,000 euros, and then in 6 months' time, they'll pay 1.5 million euros. Granted that you pay the 500,000 euros, and you are not a party to the case, no records on you in the courts of Ghana. And then in 6 months, we can find you. Who do we hold liable? So the AG, the learned, intelligent, brilliant man who is determined to save our resources, said, Ato, this is what the company is saying. If you agree, take liability and ultimate culpability of it. If you do that, I'm ready to play ball with you. Ato said no. You know why? If Ato had agreed, what it meant was that he was guilty. So his lawyers were smart to advise him that no, don't put your neck in the noose.
But in any case, okay? What we are seeking
so that
to do
is the issue. So plea bargain is, nobody says plea bargain is not part of the trial. And I agree with the learned former Chief Justice that yes, it can even happen in murder trial, cases, which is true. But I have watched legal proceedings and where the one party is called for plea bargain, and when they went into chambers and discussed, as part of it, in fact, in the plea bargain process, the criminal, the murder one and you can be said that okay, you get life sentence, but you are ready to take about 20 years.
You have 1 more minute.
Yes, you are ready to take about 20 years. You get it. Then the accused, the lawyer will say, okay, we will take 10 years, something like that. Then if it's not good for you, 10 years without parole. Right. Those are the things, the conditions and code that they come into. So the learned Attorney General Godfred Dame has never said anywhere that. And the last one, the argument my brother made about what the Jakpa said, he gave a certain context which implies that Attorney General was trying to coax him to do certain things. It's not. It is Jakpa who is saying his thing. Okay, in fact, we also have on record, we will be also bringing those things as time goes on, that the WhatsApp messages that were brought, there was a part of it where the request for meeting was made by Jakpa, and not what Johnson and 𝐶𝐻 wanted us to believe that it was from the Attorney General. No, they said we'll meet. You said we want to meet. They said no. That one, let's get it to your brother. You say your brother. So your brother has called me. I'll be there.
Let's even assume that the third accused would want to meet the Attorney General.
Yes.
An Attorney General as intelligent as he is, knowing very well that this is an accused in a case that is in court. He has lawyers.
Yes.
He's not supposed to be meeting the accused person in person.
No.
It's not done, and it's not supposed to be done by anybody, by any person like the Attorney General. Why did he meet him?
I sent him many WhatsApps and calls. He didn't mind them. He didn't meet them. But it was the respected judge of the Supreme Court who happens to be his friend who invited him. Okay, he didn't even know he was going to meet the man there.
But on the tape, if you listen to the tape, he said, we'll meet at my cousin's place. So he knew that he was going to meet Jakpa in the cousin's house.
No, we'll meet. So you don't know whether that day that he called you, that's why he called you. He didn't tell him why he called him. Okay, I know you. I know BOT. We are meeting. I don't know. I can come here. Then surprisingly, I'll see somebody that is looking for me or wants to see me and I'm not agreeing. Okay, I wouldn't know you have called him that George will be coming, so come here. I'll be surprised. You get, but out of respect for you, I will engage him. Okay, and we also know that in between times the guy had relieved his lawyers. Okay, there was a point he had relieved his lawyer. Another time he had not taken on a new lawyer yet. So we believe some of the times that they met was about, you know, when the man didn't have any representative. Johnson Asiedunketia, chairman of the NDC, says no. At any point in time where they met, he had a lawyer. So they will prove it. Okay, but this tape that I'm listening to and co, nothing in it said by the Attorney General is incriminating.
Answer this for me.
And the last one, I beg you, the last one on
your time is up.
The last one on the
right. But if our interest is to retrieve the money,
yes,
why should we be more interested in prosecuting, you know, persons accused or involved in this whole issue rather than making sure that we get the money from these people?
But in legal proceedings, there's times, you know, that's what the Attorney General said, that we want the money. If you are ready to take responsibility for that, we are ready to go into the plea bargain.
All right. Okay.
And Ato says no. So why will you continue to say, let's go into it, when the principal accused says, I'm not ready to take liability for that?
Right. Viewers, you are still watching.
How are you going to trace the big C company in Dubai?
Viewers, you are still watching Hot News right here on Pan African Television with me, Justice Appiah. I'll plead for 5 or 10 minutes. But BOT, you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Justice, let me make it emphatically clear that.
Right.
Ato Forson refused and declined to accept the terms under the plea bargain from the Attorney General because he knows he's innocent.
Okay.
Simplicity. Why must I succumb to something when I know deep in my heart, in the course of the discharge of my duty, I did what was in the utmost faith, based on utmost faith in the general good of the people. So, Ato Forson did what was in his conscience, was in the interest of the nation. Number two, he never acted ultra-virus. He never acted in a way that was in contravention with either contract law or any other law. So the MPP must not throw that out, that we have traveled this far because Ato Forson failed to accept the terms of the plea bargain. He will not accept it today and not accept it tomorrow. Because once he is innocent, he will not. Now, these are the demands of the NDC fraternity.
Right.
We held a press conference, and not for just for the purpose of the drama that they did when we did after we did ours. If indeed they have substance of their press conference, they should have had to concurrently that the way we did it, they should have done this at the same time.
Right.
But they waited for the NDC to put out the substance, and they were eating the skeleton. We have 4 demands, 4 on Attorney General, lawyer Godfred Dame, and the presidency of Ghana. Number 1, with immediate effect, he must unconditionally resign. Because you see, he's brought the office of the Attorney General into public disrepute, and the opprobrium, the noise, the cacophony is too much. So with immediate effect, I know he's in US cooling off now. As soon as he returns to Ghana at the Kotka International Terminal 3, he must attend the resignation letter. Number 2, we want him to be prosecuted because what he has done is a criminal act. And anybody who engages in matters of criminality must also face the law. 3, there should be the commencement of disciplinary proceeding by the General Legal Counsel on the Attorney General.
Have you petitioned the General?
It's going to happen soon. And the last of it all, a publicly televised parliamentary inquiry into the conduct of Godfred Dame. So these are the 4 things. He must resign, prosecuted, General Legal Counsel must sanction him, and if possible, revoke his license. Because there are certain professional code of conduct that legal brains and legal practitioners must subscribe to. Any act you engage in that is ultra-virus to those tenets and code of ethics, you must suffer the penalty thereof. So the General Legal Council of Ghana, that is the regulatory body that supervises all the conduct of lawyers and all the legal brains in the country, you must initiate proceedings to ensure that the practicing license of Godfred Dame is revoked with immediate effect. We are in this country where some lawyers, even they don't go close to what he has done, they end up losing their licenses.
Kindly step down for me.
So yes, and the last of it all.
Right.
When these 3 have been done, it must not end there.
Okay. As
he wanted Ato forcing to go down the drain, he must go down deeper. So we want to see a public televised inquiry by the Parliament of Ghana, whereby any evidence anybody has, you tender it in. We air it publicly. Godfred Dame must be scrutinized. We don't want his caliber to head the Attorney General Department. Okay. We want somebody that when we sleep, we can sleep on him. When Ghana does this, then we can say that justice indeed in Ghana. Because in 2022, Commonwealth Human Rights Organization Ashanti region conducted a research.
Okay.
94% of respondents said that.
Let me give the rest of the time.
94% of respondents said that on any day, if they have either civil or criminal case, they would prefer to curse than to go to court. There's a damning on our judicial system. I respect the judiciary, I respect the judges, but the conduct of Godfred Dame is a big shame.
Right. Thank you so much. That was Bernard Odrotechi. Mr. Ezi, kindly take us on. A lot of people are calling for the resignation of the Attorney General. What is the MPP's position on that?
We say no.
Okay.
The AG is not going to resign. He
Okay.
ain't going to resign today. He ain't going to resign tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. There's no matter in this audio that incriminates him. Okay? It's a common practice. You go to get a medical report if you want to be absent in court. Okay? Tell me, call the lawyers. How many lawyers haven't advised their clients? Go and go. If you are you not be in court, you need a medical report. Okay? So why did he say go and forge anything?
Okay.
He didn't say go forge anything. And let's go. He says what? My brother Ato knows he's innocent. No, he feared. If he knows he's innocent, why did he go to the house of Godfred Dame in the company of a senior member of parliament? Okay? What are we talking about?
Right.
Why is he interested in the plea bargain process? That when the condition was put to him, he saw that condition was serious, so he ran away. Okay? Please, Godfred Dame viewers is a solid man.
Okay.
He has helped protect this country's money. And he has chased anybody who has done wrong to this nation.
Right.
This propaganda is not going to stop.
Thank you.
He will come and continue his. If they like, they should go to the General Legal Council. I've heard many of them saying, General Legal Council that is populated by ABC. They say, come on. Why? The courts, you know, to accuse people in the U.S. court, we know the trial judge is political affiliation, don't we? We do. So what is the problem? And yet they go by the law, the contents and tenets of the law. That is what the lawyer and the judges do. And so let them do that. Ato, what you did was wrong. And like Segbefia cautioned against it.
No, I take exception to this.
Don't worry.
I take exception
But they told you that we are not interested.
Well, they are not here to. All right. Okay. But that's your release. But that's your release. Okay.
But you say Password is also solid.
He said that unless
caution. Yeah. Okay. All right.
This is not
documented.
This is not documented. He never cautioned him.